Welcome to Finding Datasets with GenAI. Today we're going to define some essential terms, go over some recommended tools, specific tools. I will demo the search process and then we will end with a hands-on activity. So first, some important definitions. GenAI. So GenAI is a type of AI that can create original content in response to a user's prompt or request. Large language model. Large language models are AI systems that are capable of understanding and generating human language by processing vast amounts of text data. Operationalization means the transformation of an abstract theoretical concept into something concrete, observable, and measurable in an empirical research project. Prompt engineering is the process of writing, refining, and optimizing inputs to encourage GenAI to create specific high-quality outputs. Lastly, proxy variable is a variable used instead of the variable of interest when that variable of interest cannot be measured directly. Okay, so some of the tools that I recommend for finding datasets are ChatGPT or Perplexity or Gemini to find proxy variables, which are variables that you can use instead of your initial variable that you're looking for, which we will go into. And then I recommend using ChatGPT Dataset Finder to find the actual datasets. So they are all a little bit, they're similar and different. ChatGPT will offer advice on choosing datasets. It'll offer to create a table for you, and it provides search suggestions. Google Gemini has a nice kind of response where it gives information on the data set, including what format it's in. And then Perplexity lists the sources. It also provides related search suggestions and offers to provide direct download links for the data sets. So they will try to find the data sets as well, but I still do recommend using the ChatGPT Dataset Finder. And the Dataset Finder will also list data sets and the corresponding files, and it'll also offer to provide direct download links. Okay, so to show you a live demo of the search process, operationalizing the topic, what I mean is sometimes you'll have a research question, but the variable isn't clearly measurable. For example, here we can try it here. We'll use ChatGPT to find proxy variables. So let's say you're trying to measure quality of life. Well, the quality of life, you can't just ask for data sets for the quality of life. You have to figure out what variables would relate to quality of life. So you can ask ChatGPT, help me find proxy variables for quality of life. And then it'll give you specific measures like number of chronic conditions, mental health indicators. You'll have to choose which ones make sense. Income level, employment status, housing stability. Those, I would go with those probably. Life satisfaction. Looks like there's some surveys on life satisfaction. Work-life balance. So it gives you ideas on what you can be asking, what measures you can ask for, where or surveys were actually done on that, using that variable. Okay. And then after you get those proxy variables, you can then use the GPT dataset finder. So for instance, you're choosing, let's say we want to know what is the work-life balance. So then we can go into the dataset finder, which is part of ChatGPT, and we can ask, help me find data sets on work-life balance. Right now I'm just giving simple prompts, but we will talk more about how we should be asking the question. So I wasn't really specific in my question, so ChatGPT is asking me for more information. What aspect of work-life balance do you want? I have to specify like working hours or stress, job satisfaction. So I can just answer what ChatGPT is asking me. But that is how the search process works. And here's just a little simple table with examples of proxy variables. So for instance, if the one we were just looking at was quality of life, so we could look at household income, employment rates, poverty rates, etc. Likewise, if we were looking for measures for job satisfaction, we could be looking for surveys on turnover, stress, burnout, etc. There's also prompt engineering, which is kind of more in-depth explanation of how to communicate with GenAI. So previously I just gave it a simple prompt, but what you want to do is provide instructions. You want to be specific about the type of data you want, the format, how accessible it is, and you want to be specific when you ask for it. You want to use the word dataset or raw data, or like unaggregated, that's another term you could ask for. And then you also want to provide context, like your goal, who you are, what is your goal, what are you working on, or what is the bigger project that you need the data set for. You do want to specify any limitations if you have any, and then if you wanted, you could provide additional input data or examples if you have them. You can also tell it to use only reliable sources, and also for it to cite the sources so that you can check them. As you are communicating with GenAI, you can ask for more context and details as you proceed. And you can even ask for remind it of your previous prompts, because it can forget what the original prompt was. So for an example would be of a really specific prompt would be something like this. I'm a doctoral student researching patient satisfaction. I need a raw data set for a data analysis project on patient satisfaction in hospitals. So you're providing the context and the specific type of data. You can also ask it what format you want. For example, you want a CSV or Excel file. You can specify the number of rows. I wouldn't be that specific. You probably kind of eliminate a lot of data sets if you were this specific. But you can add some additional specifics for this topic, like patient ID, hospital ID, reason for visit, etc. And in this example, the prompt is asking for a correlation. So This is a very extreme case of specificity, but just to give you an idea, you can be the specific, though I would just generally state the context and your goal. At least do that. These are the references for the definitions and the prompt engineering information. And for our activity, I ask you to pick an AI tool, previously mentioned AI tool, to determine measurable variables, and then use the dataset finder to find two potential datasets. So you can choose one of these topics. What's the impact of healthcare access, or what are some barriers to AI adoption? And we'll take about 5 minutes, and then we'll reconvene to see how you did.